Hi, my name's Josh. I'm from Xbox Live, and this is Josh from Xbox Live, and today I have a question for you. Have you ever seen a video essay?
Hi, I'm Danny Boyd, and this is Synopstats.
Hi, I'm Michael. This is Lessons from a Screenplay.
Hi guys, Henry here from The Closer Look.
Welcome to this episode of Page to Picture.
What is up, gamers? Welcome back to part 39 of Outdated Stuff. In this 4.5-hour video essay, I'm going to explore why SpongeBob is, a really good show. Part 1, Early Cinema.
YouTube is absolutely swarming with video essayists ranging from professors to Philistines and everything in between. Over the last 6 years, I have watched an embarrassing number of hours of YouTube video essays. I have absolutely binged pages like Every Frame a Painting, Nerdwriter, like Stories of Old, Rick Worley, So Uncivilized, Listening In, Nakey Jakey, Lessons from the Screenplay, Just Right, Indigo Gaming, Logos Made Flesh, rest in peace, Shanspeare, Movie-Wise, FD Signifier, Ola Sunvia, and many more. For those of us with hunger to learn and play with ideas, this is an extremely exciting time. Today I just have 7 quick theses on the video essay. Thesis number 1, video essays are a unique form. Video essays are not filmed lectures. They are not podcasts with video. They're not slideshows or PowerPoint presentations. Video essays are their own specific thing. Their unique power comes from the unexpected juxtapositions between words and images that inspire us to think new thoughts. But keep in mind, it's not always a given how the words of the essay and the images relate to each other. The images that the editor chooses might illustrate the text, or they might contradict the text. They might highlight an exception to the rule of whatever the speaker is saying, or they might just add some other element entirely. This fluid and unpredictable relationship between the text of the essay and the images edited alongside it, as well as the audio, is what constitutes the video essay's unique power and potential. No other form of human communication works the same way that a video essay does, and we are only beginning to discover its true contrapuntal potentials. But the opposite is also true. Video essays are not a unique form. Tomatoes. Did you know that tomatoes are from the New World? So, authentic Italian cuisine, which more or less revolves around creative uses of tomato and sauces and tomato pastes, etc., didn't exist until a couple hundred years ago. Why am I talking about this? Because nothing is pure. Everything under the sun is the result of intermingling, of the free and unceremonious sharing of influences. Communication forms are no different. The video essay owes a debt to other mediums, which include but is not limited to A, the essay. It was Michel de Montaigne who coined the phrase essay, but it was Adorno, nearly 400 years later, who really ventured the most ambitious reflection upon this form. In his landmark essay, The Essay as Form, he concludes with this paragraph: "The essay's innermost formal law is heresy. Through violations of the orthodoxy of thought, something in the object becomes visible, which it is orthodoxy's secret and objective aim to keep invisible." The essay is a form of writing that always has an object of study, whether that is a particular cultural artifact or a set of cultural artifacts. However, its efforts always go beyond the mere unearthing of the artist's intentions. Adorno writes, "Interpretation then becomes nothing but removing an outer shell to find what the author wanted to say. But since it is scarcely possible to determine what someone may have thought or felt at any particular point, nothing essential is to be gained through such insights." The essayist is not a scientist. We are not doing cultural forensics, discovering irrefutable truths. The essayist is a type of artist whose medium is interpretation, whose goal is to try out new interpretations in the effort of discovering new avenues for thought. However, the essayist is never trying to force these new avenues of thought into a new dogma. An essay, therefore, is in essence heretical because it refuses to shoehorn its insights into a pre-existing system while at the same time it refuses to create a new system to make sense and organize all of its new insights. An essay remains, at some level, fragmentary. Thus, you shouldn't agree with most video essays, and even the very best ones should have certain points that are contentious. What is the point of an essay if it isn't in some way pushing the boundaries of accepted thought? If it isn't spurring you on to your own insights? But the essay is only one of the video essay's antecedents. Antecedents. But the essay is only one of the video essays.
Antecedent.
The other big one is cinema. The history of cinema really began with the Lumiere brothers in... I'm just kidding, I'm not going to do that. But I will bring up Eisenstein and the Soviet montage guys. And the reason I bring them up is because they made one of the biggest contributions, and their contribution was defining cinema as the unique juxtapositions produced by montage. A film is not just one shot. It can be. Most films revolve around montage, that is, editing. Eisenstein believed that existence itself, but also cinema, was the result of collisions between ideas, or in the case of montage, between different shots. Cutting between one shot and another shot is like making two ideas collide with each other, which results in a new idea, which is more than the sum of the parts. Video essayists need to understand this at a basic level. What makes your medium so uniquely expressive is not just your ability to speak your ideas, but to add a whole other element to them with your editing. But to get even more specific than cinema, the video essay owes a debt to the essay film, which is a unique form distinct from narrative filmmaking. The big name that always comes up in this category is Chris Marker, probably because his masterpiece Sans Soleil is one of the most challenging films of all time. But I'd like to just add that we should look a little further back in film history, back to the silent period with the Soviet filmmaker Esfir Shub, who in 1927 made what is essentially an essay film called The Fall of the Romanov Dynasty. However, it's key to remember that video essays are not essay films. That's because they're not films, they're videos. The third antecedent to the video essay that I'll discuss today is video as such. I might get more specific and say YouTube. YouTube has its own grammar, its own language, its own genres. But what makes YouTube is the individuality of each channel. I mean, most video essayists are writing, speaking, recording, filming, editing, sound mixing, they're doing coloring, sometimes VFX. They're doing everything. They're making the thumbnails. Absolutely everything beginning to end. Everyone here on YouTube, or most of us here, are amateurs. We're just kind of rocking out here on our own, doing what makes us happy. And that's what makes it so cool and so beautiful, is you get really distinct voices. And I think that structure in itself has massively influenced the direction that this form has taken. But that also means that video essays are content.
You know what's weird?
Content. Content as a profession. That's extremely weird to me. The number of people out here who are making a living off of making content online, or MCO, it's staggering. But to make a living off of MCO, you have to produce content every single day. And your job, like your day job, is to convince strangers to click on your thumbnail. You make money off of people's attention. It's so weird to me. So that's why, remember, calling something clickbait is meaningless. Because everything is clickbait. Otherwise, why post something to YouTube if you don't want people to click on it? Therefore, video essays are kind of clickbait. However, once again, the opposite is also true. Video essays are inimical to content. Essays have traditionally been the domain of academia, or at least the semi-academic world of professional writing. And video essays are not too different from that. They aim to contribute something of value to human knowledge. I agree wholeheartedly with the great video essayist Fudge, who claims that
that's because a weekly video essay is bullshit.
Content is what we call video, which is mass producible. But you can't mass produce essays because you can't mass produce genuine original thought. If you could mass produce essays, they would no longer be essays. Thus, essays are actually a bit more than clickbait because they require substance. They require ideas, examples, research. They require an argument, a perspective, a take, a voice. And the best video essays are made with a tremendous amount of heart and intellect.
Logan believes that allowing himself to love and have a family will only lead to pain.
The very best ones can actually transform how you view life.
Where Joel would lash out at anyone who challenged him, you can play Geralt in a way where he always remains restrained. It's impossible to emasculate him because he doesn't take the bait. It's why he feels more masculine and mature than many of his counterparts.
And just like academics, video essayists quote each other.
Are we all just doing and saying the same things?
However, video essays are not academia. Let's face it, there is no separating video essays from meme culture. There may be big ideas on display, but ultimately this is entertainment for, internet-addled people who are, people whose brains have been, you know what I mean? Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? It's for people who are online. It's for people who are online. What I'm saying is you can't take video essayists too seriously. We're court jesters. Or at least I am. But what's crazy is that you can bet that even in the silliest video essay, the comment section is going to be fucking crazy. The comment section on a video essay is going to be rife with takes. But that's sort of the point, isn't it? To inspire discourse. Speaking personally for a second, one of the most common criticisms I get on my videos is something along the lines of, "You're overthinking it, dude. It's so much simpler than that." But Adorno has a great response to this. To quote him, "It's much simpler than that, we are told. The person who interprets instead of accepting what is given and classifying it is marked with the yellow star of one who squanders his intelligence in impotent speculation, reading things in where there is nothing to interpret." Whoa. There are enemies to thinking, and they are in the comments on this video, I bet.
Everybody's a critic.
But hey, that's true of any art, right? I mean, just look at all the YouTube critics who are shitting all over the new shows that are coming out. It's no different. We all like to critique art. But that's what's really interesting, is that video essays are art. We love to say things like, "Oh, it's so easy to critique things, but it's so hard to go and make things." On the one hand, I get it. For sure, I get it. On the other hand, I believe this is a false dichotomy, and the video essay actually presents a synthesis of this dialectic. Because the video essay is making something, while also critiquing something else. A video essay is the result of a creative act. It is a cultural artifact unto itself, whose purpose is to discuss another cultural artifact. We like to uphold this distinction between critiquing something versus making something, because most of us still hold on to this very romantic idea of what art is and what an artist does. It's the view of the artist as someone who is a child, someone who is unreflective, completely intuitive, someone who doesn't really have any reflective capability to understand and objectify their own art-making efforts. We like to think of the artist as somebody who does not theorize on what they're doing.
How can you be nearly headless?
Like this.
Adorno claims that this distinction between the intuitive artist and the critical essayist cannot ever be a clean distinction. For one thing, as we all know, many artists are accomplished critics. But the truth is that most critics are also, I was going to say frustrated artists, but they're not necessarily frustrated. I think maybe they often are, but I'm not frustrated. The essayist surrenders their artistic pretensions at their own loss, for their essays will be devoid of play, of formal poetry, of formal rigor, of originality. But on the other hand, as Adorno reminds us, the artist who sacrifices their reflective capacity, their critical thinking capacities, is shooting themselves in the foot even more. Artists who sacrifice their critical thinking become automatons, and, as Adorno says, they grind good works of art down into bad ones. They become incapable of thinking deeply about the value and identity of what the hell it is they're doing. This is maybe the biggest reason why I find the video essay to be such an amazing form, because it really brings the right hemisphere of the brain and the left hemisphere of the brain into a beautiful synergy. However, the way that the video essay accomplishes this is through a morally and legally gray matter. It's by quoting, remixing, appropriating, and in some cases, stealing pre-existing materials. So therefore, video essays are not art. With the exception of the occasional shot of the video essayist speaking directly into the camera, or perhaps sipping a cup of coffee or something like that. Every piece of media, every clip, every piece of music, all the materials of the video essay are stolen from somewhere else. The video essayist steals without remorse, without a guilty conscience, as they should. This is what the form demands, a repurposing, a deterritorialization of pre-existing materials. Thus, I think it's pretty fair to actually say that a video essay does not conform to our pre-existing notions of what art looks like. These are not creative acts per se, but recreative, let's say. Their art is that of synthesis and recontextualization, and to demand otherwise is to demand that the video essay as a form ceases to exist. That's why I think it's absolutely crucial that we all fight to defend the video essay's right to steal copyrighted material. No video essay will ever replace the works that they quote. No one's going to not go watch Star Wars because I make a video about Star Wars. We cannot steal value from the original thing. We can only add interpretation and value to it. Thus, every video essay should, by definition, fall under the auspices of fair use. And I would personally like to, I would really like it if Paramount, if you're listening to this, I would really like it if you let me upload the Galaxy Quest video again, which is on my Patreon now, because I can't put it on YouTube. Please, it's my favorite of all the videos I've made. It's the best one, and it kills me that you took it down twice. Sorry for the shameless plug. In conclusion, look, we go to school to master language. First, we learn how to speak it, then we learn how to read and write it. Reading and writing are external tools. They're based on the technology of pen and paper, or nowadays, most likely, computers. Most of us learn how to use some kind of word processing computer in school. We also learn how to construct essays on that computer. Well, I don't think it's crazy to think that one day soon, people might actually learn how to compose video essays in school. I don't see why young people shouldn't be taught how to use nonlinear editing software from a very young age. Because in my view, it's fast becoming an essential mode of organizing and expressing our thoughts. The quality of our thoughts is inextricably linked to the quality of our modes of expressing those thoughts. Thus, I hope I'm not alone in the optimistic belief that learning how to make video essays not only adds a dimension to the types of thoughts you can express, but adds a dimension to the types of thoughts that you can think. Therefore, the evolution of the video essay is inextricably linked to the evolution of human consciousness. We must defend the video essay at all costs. Have a good day.